Joseph wasn't a people person. That wasn't some tragic flaw or a childhood trauma. He just didn't like noise, didn't like questions, and didn't like faces. He took the job as the groundskeeper for Cedar Hollow Cemetery because it paid surprisingly well, certainly enough to live and indulge in a few pleasures, plus the residents were quiet. That was enough. He lived in the small cottage just beyond the wrought iron gates, where the porch light always flickered, and the only company he had were crows and crickets. One evening, near closing, Joseph was locking the tool shed when he heard it. Singing faint and off-key, the melody drifted on the wind. It sounded like a nursery rhyme or something half-remembered from childhood, but it was coming from the middle of the cemetery. Joseph froze. His first instinct was to ignore it. Teenagers probably, or worse, people who thought cemeteries were cute places to stage TikToks. But the song continued, warbling and slow. Hush now, don't you cry. Grumbling to himself, he grabbed the flashlight from the shed wall and made his way down the gravel path, the beam slicing through the growing fog. The singing got louder, more distinct. It wasn't a recording. It was a voice, small, pure, and coming from below. When he turned the corner by the willow tree, he stopped cold. There was an open grave. He hadn't approved any new burials. No funeral, no backhoe crew. The grave was fresh, dirt piled to the side like someone had dug it within the hour. And at the bottom, nestled 6 feet down, was a child-sized coffin. And it was singing. Joseph's throat dried out. His tongue felt like it was glued to the roof of his mouth. The song ended mid-line, cut off like a tape stopping suddenly. Silence. Then from within the coffin came a voice, a high-pitched whisper, sweet and unnatural. "Hi, Joseph." He stumbled backward, slipping on loose gravel. His legs gave out, and he landed hard, narrowly missing the edge of a nearby headstone. He scrambled back like a crab, eyes wide, mouth trembling. "What the fuck?" he shouted. The coffin didn't move. The lid remained sealed, but the voice answered. "No need to yell, Joseph. I can read your thoughts. In fact, we all can." It sounded like a child pretending to be polite, but also like the ancient tongue of something older than time itself. "What? Who's we?" Joseph asked, barely able to form the words. There was a pause, then came the reply, in a voice different from before. It had dropped the childlike facade. This was more like a shrill, excited whisper, like if trees had vocal cords. The sound of it and what it said made Joseph's bones feel like glass. "Your new neighbors." Joseph's breath hitched. He could feel it now, a pressure in the air, like the ground itself was inhaling. Around him, the cemetery grew unnaturally still. The crickets had gone silent. The fog had thickened. He turned to run, but stopped short. All along the rows of graves, shapes were rising. The earth didn't move. There were no hands clawing from the dirt. But standing beside nearly every headstone were figures, small, dark silhouettes, with 2 long limbs and heads tilted at impossible angles, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, and they were watching him. The voice returned, louder now, and no longer confined to the coffin. "We've been waiting for someone like you, Joseph." He didn't remember running, just the sound of blood in his ears, the crunch of gravel underfoot, and that same song starting up again behind him, sung by a choir of childlike voices, echoing from every grave. After that night, Joseph was never seen again.